Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, the Israeli preparing to fight back against attacks that could come from multiple locations all at once as Iran and Hezbollah gear up to strike the Jewish state after the deaths of terrorist leaders. The rising tensions coming as Israelis come together in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv to pray during a Jewish period of mourning. And we're going to look at how the Israeli National Emergency Medical Service is also getting ready to deal with casualties, destruction, and shortages of food and water if there are major attacks on the Jewish state. We're going to bring you an up-close and personal look. Here at home, as the Democrats are set for their national convention next week in Chicago, we're going to show you why so many people are leaving the Windy City and the state of Illinois and moving somewhere else. And the history of In God We Trust. We're going to tell you how and when it came to be our official motto. All those stories and more today are ahead right here on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin this busy half hour in the Middle East, where Israel is preparing for attacks on multiple fronts from Iran and its proxy terrorist groups, including Hezbollah. Today, Iran rejected a call from European leaders to refrain from launching retaliatory attacks against Israel. And during this tense situation, Israelis gathered in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv to pray on a great day of mourning. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us the story. She's reporting now from Jerusalem.
Despite the threats on multiple fronts, tens of thousands of Israelis gathered to pray in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv for the commemoration of Tisha B'Av. It's a day on the Hebrew calendar when throughout history disasters fell upon the Jewish people, including the destruction of both the first and second temples and the start of World War I. Beginning Monday, the prayers continue through today and include the reading of the Book of Lamentations. The observance even more significant this year as Israel faces imminent threat of attack from Iran, Hezbollah, and other Iranian proxies in the region. The IDF is ready to take preventative action if necessary.
We attack all the time and remove threats as soon as we detect them. We are at peak readiness for this mission.
Israel's defense minister says the Jewish nation is ready.
We are in the days of vigilance and preparedness. The threats from Tehran, as well as Beirut, may come to fruition.
The U.S. agrees with Israel's intelligence warning that a wave of major attacks could come at any moment.
We have to be prepared for what could be a significant set of attacks.
On the northern border, Hezbollah appears to be readying for war. Lebanese media reports the terror group has evacuated its Beirut headquarters. President Biden joined the leaders of Germany, France, Britain, and Italy in a joint statement on the situation. We expressed our support for the defense of Israel against Iranian aggression and against attacks by Iran-backed terrorist groups. We called on Iran to stand down its ongoing threats of a military attack against Israel. In Gaza, Israeli forces say they came close to delivering a major blow against Hamas. An IDF general reveals forces were just minutes away from reaching Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar in his underground lair. Hot coffee and piles of cash left behind by the occupants. This as Israeli leaders engaged in an open spat. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Defense Minister Yoav Gallant of adopting an anti-Israel narrative after Gallant criticized Netanyahu's talk of absolute victory. Netanyahu says it's a clear goal that everyone is obligated to support. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And we want to continue our coverage now with CBN's Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell. So, Chris, the Chief of Staff of the Israeli Defense Forces have approved plans for fighting on multiple fronts. What kinds of attacks is Israel potentially expecting?
Well, Ephraim, this would be part of that seven-front war that has Hezbollah, not Hezbollah, but on Hezbollah, Hamas, Iran, Houthis, Judea, and Samaria. This is that seven-front war that surrounds Israel. Netanyahu's talked about it. They call it the ring of fire that surrounds Israel. Halevi says they're in high readiness, not only on defense, but also on offense. And you saw Julie in her report said the UK, France, and Germany calling for restraint. And in their report, in that communique, they said that Iran would bear responsibility. And this is all part, Ephraim, that we've been going through wars and rumors of wars. In fact, this morning, many people expected the war would start last night. Not only because of Tisha B'Av, but there had been reports from Fox News that said it was within 24 hours. There was a cryptic tweet that came out that was spread around that it would start at 2 a.m. in the morning. But it's wearing on people. It has a psychological toll, an economic toll. And even going back as far as August 4th, Antony Blinken told the G7 that Iran and Hezbollah could attack Israel within 24 hours. And so it's really a tense situation here. People anticipating, a major war within hours or days. We'll see.
Chris, Hezbollah has reportedly completely evacuated its headquarters in Beirut. Is Israel taking that as another sign of a major attack? What would it look like?
Well, a major factor. And by doing that, they're signaling that they expect Beirut to be a target by Israel. They also took out Fuad Shukr. He was the #2 man in Hezbollah, and that's why we're in this situation now. One of the reasons. They can fire thousands of rockets a day. Israel says they're preparing for the worst. But there's so much going on right now, Ephraim. There's these U.S. military assets, probably unprecedented in the region. The U.S. is attempting to deter Iran. As we said, other nations are trying to stop Iran. But Iran is saying they're not going to be deterred. They're going to go on. So lots of moving parts going on here in the Middle East, diplomatically, militarily, and even spiritually, as we've talked, Ephraim, in the last few days, a really unprecedented crescendo of prayer for Israel and the Middle East right now.
Would cities like Jerusalem and Tel Aviv be potential targets for Hezbollah and Iran?
Very much so. They have been already. For example, the Houthis hit Tel Aviv about 3 weeks ago, and that sparked a response by Israel where they hit a major port in Yemen that was very instrumental, strategic for the Houthis, where Iran was bringing in weapons, and also a major oil port. And Iran in April, they had projectiles shot down here over Jerusalem. We heard those explosions. We interviewed General Amir Avivi not long ago, and he told us that Tel Aviv, if it was hit, would lead to a major war. So a lot depends really on the scale of the attack by Iran or Hezbollah, and where they're going to be hitting. Maybe civilian areas like Tel Aviv will make a huge difference.
Israeli forces were reportedly just minutes from capturing Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. Does that show how relentless Israel has been in pursuing terrorists?
Very much so. I mean, he's public enemy #1. For example, it took months, even years, to track down Mohammed Deif. He was #2 in Hamas. And in that article on the Times of Israel was an interview with a man named General Goldfuss. And he made that announcement that they were so close to Sinwar. He was the one who led us through a tunnel in Khan Yunis, and he said that tunnel system is Hamas's center of gravity. And as we're in that tunnel, he was explaining that the IDF has been fighting above and below the ground. And he was just complimenting the way the IDF soldiers right now are fighting. They had to learn this kind of warfare on the fly, so to speak, and in the field. And he called them a generation of winners. And he was asked also, what does victory look like, referring to what was reported in Julie's story. Now, he says Hamas needs to be fully defeated and unable to recover.
We began this half hour with Julie Stahl's piece talking about the observance of Tisha B'Av. What can you tell us about this year?
Well, as you saw in Julie's report, thousands of people at the Western Wall last night, and even today, they fast for 5 hours. It's similar to the fast on Yom Kippur. No food, no drink. Many restaurants are closed right now. Much less traffic on the streets here in Jerusalem. They do read the Book of Lamentations, and they reflect on all these calamities. The first and second Jewish temples destroyed, and so many other things that happened on this day. But there's also a hope and redemption of rebuilding the third temple, and this all ends a 3-week period, what they call the dire straits, beginning on the fast of Tammuz and ending today on Tisha B'Av. It's really a very solemn day, but especially now after October 7th, it's very, very meaningful to the Jewish people here in Israel and around the world.
Holiday, but still a busy day there in Jerusalem. What can we expect this evening on Jerusalem Dateline?
Well, we'll have an update on the latest, what's going on. We have an analysis on Iran from Yigal Karman. He's the founder of Memory, Middle East Media Research Institute. We also have an interview with Adele Reamer. She's from the kibbutz Nerim, and she talks us how she became, at one time, been very liberal and progressive, and now more of a realist. And we have a story with Chuck Holton on Magen David Adom, that's Israel's premier rescue service, how they are preparing for war in all sorts of scenarios, and that could happen any day.
All right, praying for you, and thank you so much for your insight as always. Chris, I want to remind you at home that you can see the latest from Jerusalem Dateline this evening. You can find it on the CBN News channel at 8 Eastern. You can also watch it on the CBN News app or tune into YouTube. Coming up, part of Israel's preparation for major attacks is dealing with potential casualties, destruction of buildings and homes, shortages of food and water, and more. We're going to show you how the International Medical Emergency Service is gearing up for potential disasters ahead. We've got the story for you when we come back. You're watching CBN NewsWatch.
Download the CBN News app, 24/7 news from a Christian perspective at home or on the road. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Set daily prayer goals and pray for news stories. Read the most important news and watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Go to cbnnewsapp.com to get the app today.
As Iran and Hezbollah escalate threats against Israel, the nation's emergency services are preparing for potential large-scale attacks. CBN contributing correspondent Chuck Holton got an exclusive look at how Israel's National Emergency Medical Service is getting ready for any scenario.
You've heard of the Red Cross, but in Israel, it's the Red Star of David that's saving lives. Magen David Adom, or MDA, is Israel's premier ambulance and blood service. With a force of over 30,000 volunteers, they're on the front lines of Israel's defense against terror.
So ever since October 7, 2023, Magen David Adom has been preparing for a large-scale war in Israel. We understand that, first of all, maybe international assistance will be blocked because the airport will be closed. So we have stored medical equipment, water, and food rations for many months ahead.
MDA's arsenal includes more than 1,500 ambulances, hundreds of motorcycles, and even boats and helicopters. They're not just preparing, they're ready for war.
We train our people to work in what we call an isolated island scenario, meaning those are the ambulances that you have. This is the manpower that you have. Now, think of how you respond better without having the umbrella of the entire organization.
As they seek to help Israel be as prepared as possible for whatever might happen in the next few days, Magen David Adom is doing a lot more than just providing ambulance services and first aid training. They're also stockpiling things like this generator in different spots all around the country in case there's a nationwide power outage because of the attacks. MDA isn't just waiting for attacks. They're empowering Israeli citizens to defend themselves.
We train communities, we equip them with medical equipment, so if, God forbid, they are attacked, they can respond first.
In the face of these threats, MDA is leveraging cutting-edge American technology to save lives.
We are using AI features in order to send ambulances automatically without the intervention of a human, done very, very quick. We use a machine learning processes in order to predict where the next call will come from.
And as Israelis watch the skies tonight, MDA is as prepared as it can get.
We are in a standby, as nobody really knows what will happen. And we do understand that if Iran will retaliate from 5 different fronts, this might cause damage in a colossal magnitude. This might cause hundreds, if not thousands, of wounded. And this is why everyone are preparing.
Chuck Holton, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Even as Democrats getting ready for their convention in Chicago next week, it turns out thousands of residents are moving out of the Windy City and even the state of Illinois. We're going to take a look at why they're leaving. The story's coming out right after this. For the last 4 years, since 2020, thousands of Illinois residents have been fleeing the state at an alarming rate. Skyrocketing housing costs, high taxes are part of the problem, but there are others as well. CBN's Paul Petit is in the Windy City with a closer look at the factors behind the mass exodus.
Anthony and Lisa Nicholas are only two of about 174,000 Illinois residents who have left since 2020.
It is sweet home, and it's a place where, you know, if it wasn't as bad politically, the political landscape, taxes, all these factors, I would have stayed in Illinois. That,
along with a new business opportunity, warmer weather, and a lower cost of living, is proving this Chicago couple made a sound decision in moving to Northwest Arkansas.
I'd say that it's a fifth of the cost of living. It's probably a fifth the cost of many things.
This new 3-bedroom home they bought for $360,000 is a prime example.
In Chicago, this would probably be anywhere between $500,000 to $600,000, depending on your location.
High housing costs are a big reason. The top 3 states losing the most residents are New York, California, and Illinois. And according to figures recently released by the U.S. Census Bureau, the land of Lincoln has seen its population decline for 10 consecutive years, suffering losses in 87 of its 102 counties.
The Census Bureau actually surveys movers every year and asks them why they're moving, but they don't ask the tax question. But there's no doubt that costs have a big impact.
And when it comes to California, New York, and Illinois, Edwards sees a common denominator.
We have very detailed data on interstate migration. There's no doubt that some of the biggest states that are politically left of center, like California and Illinois and New York, there are large amounts of people leaving to move to other states every year.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, though, disputes those census numbers, earning him the label census denier. He claims the homeless, recent migrants, and people that are hard to reach were not counted.
2 plus 2 will always equal 4, no matter how you try to spin it. And 3 minus 2 is 1. Numbers don't lie. And if people are leaving, no matter what you're doing to try and bring the numbers up, that still shows that there's something happening in our state that is pushing people away. They are voting with their feet.
They'll say people are moving out of our state because it's cold and northerly. But to me, the message should be, well, that's right, and there's nothing you can do about that. But what policymakers can do something about is the efficiency and leanness of their government, and they can do something about tax levels.
Anthony says his father-in-law could soon follow his lead and also leave Illinois. Among his many reasons, overbearing property taxes.
Taxes are almost at $40,000 annually, and that's for his home? For his home.
Wow.
That's huge. I mean, when you look at here in Northwest Arkansas, I know that our taxes are anywhere between $3,500 and $5,000.
Then there's the brutal daily traffic.
I want to say that was maybe 10 to 15 miles, maybe even less, maybe 8 to 10 miles, let's put it that way. And it took me almost 2 hours to get back. An hour to the city, an hour back.
And that really adds up, given sky-high gas prices. Upwards to $1 more per gallon in Illinois compared to its neighbor to the northwest, Wisconsin. Beyond the numbers, Anthony feels the political and spiritual environment is also unwelcome.
Chicago has a lot of, dark areas where they're politically focused and they drive in the LGBTQ communities, and that's what actually probably pushes down a lot of the faith-based Christian focus. It's very suppressed.
Although his sweet hometown of Chicago remains special, much like the many others who've left Illinois, he sees it as a great place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. In Chicago, Paul Petit, CBN News.
In God we trust. But few people know just when this famous phrase took its place in our political landscape. We're going to have the story for you when we come back, and an encouraging word for your day ahead. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch.
Introducing a brand new way to start your morning, the CBN News Quick Start Podcast. Each weekday morning at 7 a.m., get quick highlights of the day's important news. Then an in-depth analysis that goes beyond the headlines. Insights that matter to people of faith. Discover how God is moving around the world and here at home. Find the CBN News Quick Start Podcast on iTunes or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts, because truth matters.
Hi, I'm John Stolnis, host of the CBN News podcast, DC Debrief. Each Friday, get the inside scoop on Washington politics straight from the nation's capital. Because truth matters. Start listening today.
It is so ingrained in society, you think America's national motto has been around for centuries, but at the end of July in 1956, President Dwight Eisenhower signed a bill into law declaring "In God We Trust" as the nation's official motto. It replaced the earlier unofficial motto, "E pluribus unum," which is in Latin for "out of many, one." The law was passed by Congress unanimously, requiring the phrase to be printed on all paper currency in capital letters. The $1 certificate was the first paper money with the motto to enter circulation. That happened October 1st, 1956, and the motto made its original appearance on U.S. coins in 1864 during the Civil War. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. Let gratitude be your guiding posture and position in all things. Before your feet hit the floor each morning, open your eyes and then open your mouth and simply say, thank you. If I merged two scriptures, they'd read like this: count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. In everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. That will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel. You can find them there at any time, as well as online. That's cbnnews.com. Take a moment, let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today by email, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. See you tomorrow.